to another episode of Beyond the Black Rims. I'm Mars Girl.
I'm Josh Knight the First.
And this is Season 5, Episode 9.
Or Episode 103 if you're counting.
Hopefully everything is running pretty smoothly. Unlike,
yeah, should be.
Unlike last week. I'm sure you guys will tell me if it's not, though, as always.
Yes.
Also, as always, thank you to our Patreon contributors over at patreon.com/MarsGirl who make sure that this and many other shows always happen. Very excited because I've got Batman Mask of the Phantasm review coming up, specifically as a Patreon request. So check out patreon.com/MarsGirl if you're at all interested in learning anything more about that or any other Patreon related thing, really.
Learning is fun.
Learning is fun. What's going on, Josh?
Nothing.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Did you have a birthday?
Yes, I had a birthday.
The chat room
yes,
sure decided
you guys
to
remembered.
remind
I
you.
appreciate that. Thank you. Unfortunately, I've had a tragedy. I've turned 30.
Oh.
It's terrible. I'm just like that much older.
Saraba watashi no seishun. Farewell, my youth.
Pretty much, yeah. No, actually, it's not so bad, because, you know, we were talking about this earlier, like, I was stressing out about it so much the week prior, you know, that's a big milestone for a lot of people, and then, you know, after my birthday happened, I'm like, wait, I feel fine, there's no difference.
Yeah, you were only panicking over it on the day.
Yeah, it's just the psychology of it, really, but otherwise, it's fine.
I really wanted to find that episode in the first season of Full House where Danny Tanner turns 30, which... Mind you, you'll realize just how young Danny Tanner was as a father, but, I mean, I don't know how many of you watched Full House, but
I don't know, like, how old was DJ at the beginning of the series?
She was early teenager. She was in middle school, at least.
I guess.
Yes.
I don't know, Full House wasn't my show, Fresh Prince was my show.
I understand, but the Olsen twins are my age, so...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of weird when you think about
the
that.
Olsen twins are almost 30. Ha! Remember when everybody was waiting for them to turn 18?
Yeah, because everybody wanted to, like, you know, do stuff, but, like, what were you gonna do? They're the Olsen twins.
You know what? Let's talk about something else.
Yeah, let's talk about something else. What did I do for my birthday?
I don't know. It's not like I was there or anything. Why don't you tell me?
The hell are you talking about? You planned the whole thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
You planned the whole thing. We ate a giant pizza. Went to a local convention, which was just like Dealer's Room, the convention.
Yeah, sorry, Texas Comic Con.
Yeah, sorry. I did get to meet Catherine Sutherland, who was the second Pink Ranger on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, so that was pretty cool. I saw John Wesley Shipp there, who was the original Flash and now plays Barry Allen's dad on the current Flash.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Barbara Goodson was there, who's the voice of Rita Repulsa. The voice of Lord Zed was there as well. And... before all that, and, you know, just something to talk about, technically it's a follow-up, but it's something we got to experience. We managed to get tickets, kind of like we talked about last week, to go see Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F.
Yes.
And that was an experience,
you know
all right?
what? I really enjoyed it, because I was totally thinking, it's gonna be an American localized dub, and therefore, like, everybody in America loves our dub, but... at the same time, I'm kind of like, well, our dub takes a lot of humor out and replaces it with extreme!
I don't know about that. Not all the time.
A lot of time. You remember all those old movies that replaced all the BGM with, like, Stained?
And Disturbed.
And Disturbed.
That's why I loved History of Trunks so much. Cause
you see? That's what Americans like out of DBZ.
Yeah, and it was awesome. Well, the thing is, going into this movie, you know, Funimation had their own pre-show that they put in front of the movie, which I appreciated. And then, you know, once you get into the movie, it's not just a rehash of Goku versus Frieza. Mm-hmm. You can see both sides have learned something.
Yeah.
And, you know, kind of like what you were getting at right now, the movie's actually really funny.
Yes.
Like, there's a lot of jokes.
It left in a lot of its original humor, and pretty much entirely its original soundtrack. Although it gets all the way up to Momoiro Clover Z's. They're the same little... I think it's a 4-girl... It's 5 girls? Whatever.
Unless it's 5.
They're a pop group. They're the same ones who do the opening to the new Sailor Moon remake series. And they have a closing theme, and apparently they do both the Japanese and the English version of it, and the English version is just...
almost unintelligible.
It's words. but it's not English.
Well, yeah,
it's
that's
English words.
It could have been,
but
it could have been some other language. I don't know. A point being, the movie was awesome. It actually managed to break into the top 10 anime movies having been released over here. It knocked off friggin' Howl's Moving Castle.
Right, that's pretty friggin' impressive.
And I think yesterday might have been the last day, but I heard some theaters added showings because they saw that the hype for this thing was being lived up to. People were actually coming out. Our theater was sold out. We had to sit in the very front row, craning our necks up, looking at the screen.
It was a packed theater.
But it was a packed theater.
I couldn't do anything
we got
about
what we
it.
could. But it was definitely worth it.
You take it and you appreciate it and you like it.
I did.
Okay, good.
It was awesome.
Happy birthday.
I don't want to ruin all the jokes in the movie. There's just one in particular I want to talk about, which is where they have Krillin and 18, and Krillin's getting ready to go off and fight again, and 18's like, I could help too. He's like, no, don't worry, baby, I got it. And then he pews away, and she's just looking at him. He's so cool. And the whole theater laughed at Krillin. And I mean, that's become the thing to rag on Krillin.
It is, but at the same time, I think Krillin is cool.
No, I know.
think he's cool because he's the one human able to do anything even remotely close to anybody else.
Yeah, because screw Yamcha.
Yeah, screw
Yamcha.
He didn't even show up.
Yeah,
so.
he didn't even show up for this one. At least they mentioned Chaozu.
Yeah.
Alright, but Yamcha, he got the axe.
They might have mentioned Yamcha.
I don't think they mentioned Yamcha.
He listed off 2 dudes that he chose not to bring. And one of them was Chaozu, and I think the other was Yamcha.
I don't remember
Unless
him
it was
mentioning...
Yajirobe.
Maybe.
I don't think it was
I
Yajirobe.
don't remember
it
ever hearing
matter.
Yamcha's name.
We're kind of on this for too long.
Alright, yeah, but we actually have a show for you guys tonight. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So, you want to talk about that first story?
Yeah, so the first story that's going to be coming up here in a few more minutes... There's more gem-related stuff that's come out. And one piece of it is a trailer, and then another part of it is this extended featurette thing. And then a third part is they released a pretty long fragment of that song that you keep hearing in the trailer, and all of it is crap. I will talk extensively on how crappy it is a little later.
Yes, our second story for the evening. We talked about it as a follow-up last week, but we've got a little bit more information that we can, expand upon. So we talked a little bit about the Attack on Titan game that's being developed by Koei, the guys who usually put out the Musou Dynasty Warriors-style games. Well, we've got a lot of information about what they're going to do with that game and how it's going to differ from those games very largely. So we'll talk to you guys more about that in the second story.
And then finally, I don't know if, like I was just out and about kind of Googling stuff about Star Wars, and then come to find out, 80 bajillion tiny little snippets of Star Wars
and some not so tiny stuff
are kind of leaking out right now, and that's probably because, we're right up on D23.
Right, exactly.
Which is probably why it's all coming right at this moment, but, oh man, there's tons of tiny things, and maybe one kind of large thing, but there's so many tiny things, and I don't even care that it's all so tiny, I love it all.
Yes.
I'm so excited for all of it. I can't even tell you. I don't get excited for much because I hate so many things lately.
You do.
You
really do.
I don't know why I hate so many things lately, but I'm happy for something.
Yes, I'm happy that you're happy for something.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's like the cheapest medication is Star Wars movies. Good Star Wars movies.
Yes.
Well, maybe it's not so cheap because of the merchandising, which we'll talk about. Yes.
Segues.
Yeah, segue.
Right.
Well, not really segue. It's kind of like a foreshadowing.
You know what? Let's just you do
follow-ups.
follow-ups. Why don't
Okay.
you talk about something?
So let's get down to brass tacks with the follow-ups first and foremost.
Why do they have to be brass?
I don't know. It's just a cheap enough building material.
Forget it.
Okay. So first thing we're going to talk about is DBZ was not the only thing to open last week. I did mention, and some of you might have seen, that I did in fact sit through Fantastic Four. It was not as bad as people made it out to be, but it definitely wasn't good.
Well,
and the numbers...
I think that what I was asking you, because I didn't go, was more that it's not a bad movie so much as it's a terrible adaptation.
It's an absolutely atrocious adaptation.
Okay, so that leads credence to everything everyone has said about it.
It's getting a lot more flack, but bottom line, what the follow-up story is that it only made less than $26 million over the weekend, opening up number 2 to Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.
That's not good.
No, it was not tracking very well for its theaters.
So to understand too that they are still moving forward with its sequel anyway.
I've heard two conflicting reports today, and unfortunately, just with work today, I haven't been able to nail down what the story is. But it's one of two things: either one, they're deciding to go ahead with the sequel that they've already put a date aside for anyway, or they're scrapping that and giving that sequel date actually to Deadpool.
They should do that.
I would agree more with the second one.
They should do that.
They should do that.
They should.
And that goes without saying. Let's see, in other news, we got a new Doctor Who trailer a little earlier.
I will let you have that one.
Yes. Of course, the new episodes are going to begin on September 19th. We got a lot of new footage, things of like Clara with a bazooka. The character Macy Williams is playing. Nobody knows who she is yet, and they're still not telling anybody who she's playing. It's like, no, you guys better watch for this one. And of course, we're seeing the return of Missy, aka the Master. Sorry if it's spoiler, it's been a while. Now people know that. But definitely looking forward to that. It looks very much more high-paced than the last episodes that we got. Because I think in comparison, you need time to get to know a Doctor. That goes without saying. But I think a lot of the pace of Peter Capaldi's first episodes weren't so fast. Time Heist was kind of a little more fast-paced, but really it didn't ramp up until the last two episodes. This season looks like it's going to offer more action, which I think people thought was lacking from the past season. So BBC's paying attention.
I will take your word for it.
Yes, you will. Okay, so moving on to other news. We got a picture here from the set of Captain America Civil War. We can now say
Is it this one? Nope, that's not it.
I'll let you know when you hit it.
Because I'm looking at my pictures for other things.
You might have forgotten to load it.
I might have forgot. In fact, I don't even think you sent me anything for Civil War. It doesn't matter. Just talk about it.
Okay, so we had a picture to show you guys. That Black Panther was in fact seen on set. It was one of the stunt actors in the suit. In the Black Panther suit. It looks a little more...
you mean Black Panther?
Yes.
Oh, because, yeah, I totally have Black Panther picture, and it's right here.
Thank you. There it is.
Yeah.
So there he is, guys. Okay, so you see the Black Panther there on the set. The cloth look of the costume is a little bit interesting to think about, because if you guys remember the look of the promotional art that they put out, it looked a little bit more, I guess, rubbery or leathery. Some people are postulating that this might mean this is a kind of proto-Black Panther outfit. That way, once we get to his solo movie, it'll look a lot more like what the promotional art looked like.
Well, yeah, for example, Spider-Man can't just jump straight into his, well-known Spidey suit. He's got to start by wearing crap.
And that's kind of the same thing we're coming from here. At least that gives credence to that idea, because if Spidey's getting a proto suit in this version, or at least a different looking suit, the same could be said of Black Panther. So this is the first look we've got with him. He's filming there with Bucky's stunt actor and Cap's stunt actor there on set, so hopefully we'll get more on that as filming continues.
Yes.
In other gaming news, a lot of people were mad that back after E3, the Fallout Shelter game was only iOS. Well, now, officially today, Fallout Shelter is available on Android as well.
Of course, being on Android was always the plan.
Right,
They just weren't ready to... I don't know why it is that Android always kind of takes the back seat to iOS. I suppose because Apple has money.
Yes.
But at the same time, more people use Android devices than use Apple devices.
Well, you've got proponents on either side. Oh, Apple's better for this. No, Android's better for this. Personally, we both have Android phones.
Yes.
So, I as soon as I found out, I retweeted, and then I downloaded it. I haven't played it yet because I was in work. But, now everybody's got a chance to play it. So if you guys want, just go over, look it up on your phone. You should be able to download it from the Google Play Store right now. In other news, other gaming news, we got to look at Star Wars Battlefront. They're touting this new mode that kind of harkens back to the old Battlefront games called Supremacy Mode, where they basically put you at the front lines, and you are basically playing Capture the Flag. You've got 5 points on the map. Each camp, I guess, Rebels or Empire, are holding on to 2 of them, and you fight for control of the middle one.
Okay, that's kind of Capture the Flag and kind of, just holding down a point.
Well, the way they're saying it is that you have to take each point in a certain order. You can't just show up and take it like it's Team Fortress. But they're saying it's definitely going to be very high-paced. We also got to look at that footage again, that goes hand in hand with the footage that we saw of Darth Vader there on the battlefield. They say you will get to play as Vader, Luke, Boba Fett. Haven't fully confirmed Han Solo yet, but it's more than likely.
Without getting too far into our last story for the evening, I'm thinking I'm probably going to pre-order it because I want to see that Battle of Jakku that supposedly takes place within Episode 7, and
yes.
I want to do that the week early.
Right, because
if you
pre-order, you get to play on the 1st of December. Everybody else has to wait a whole week until the 8th to play. So, yeah, there's definitely something to that. If you want in on the ground floor of those battles, you got to pre-order, which we're probably going to do next week.
Yep.
Okay, in other news, for the Lego Batman movie, they've just cast Zach Galifianakis as the Joker.
Well, he's a douche.
Well, he's funny.
I guess.
I think the funniest thing I saw him in...
chuckled.
I've laughed at him, probably Due Date's the one I laughed at him the most in. But, he rounds out the cast there with Will Arnett and Michael Cera as Batman and Robin, respectively. In Ghostbusters news, for the reboot, Bill Murray was more or less spotted on set getting ready to film...
Are we confirming this is reboot? I saw a lot of news outlets...
People keep using the term
a lot of
reboot.
outlets used the term reboot, so I'm not really sure. Some are saying reboot, and some are just saying Ghostbusters movie. And
okay,
I don't
Ghostbusters
know
movie. Let's just say Ghostbusters movie, because no matter what, that's what it is. Now, they're saying that the role he's playing was specifically written for him for the movie, and that his role is similar to that of Walter Peck in the first movie, just in that he's going to be somebody who tries to disprove that what the Ghostbusters are doing is actually real.
So he's not playing...
He's not playing Peter Venkman.
I want to get up and leave, but there's no room to do that.
They want to show that it's two completely different things. Like Dan Aykroyd's cameo, he's not playing Ray Stantz.
So then it may as well be a reboot.
I guess. If you want to feel better about using the term reboot.
I don't feel better about that, Josh. Why would that make me feel better? That doesn't make me feel better.
Okay, fine. So anyway, in other news, we got a picture of, our first picture actually, of Jay Garrick on The Flash. Thankfully, CW put this picture out, which harkens back to the first time The Flash and, well, really Barry Allen and Jay Garrick met up. The costume looking almost completely accurate to the comic there. I'm feeling excited for it. Really...
I think that's cool. I haven't been watching The Flash as much as you have.
Flash has been good. I will make you watch it as soon as the DVD comes out.
I've been half watching and half hearing over your shoulder and been enjoying what I've been hearing, except for the way they write their ladies, who all seem to be stupid.
Yes. We also got some other news, going back to gaming news, for Final Fantasy 15. The director has said that this will be the first solo Final Fantasy that will have international distribution on the same day. That is what Tabata said from Gamescom.
Well, that'll be cool if they can ever release it.
And he also took it a step further to further confirm what we heard last week, that it will not debut in 2015, but it will debut before 2017.
So that means... I don't know. When's it coming out? I can't tell. He won't tell us. I can't tell.
Well, if only there was a number that came between 2015 and 2017.
Why is he so afraid of actually saying 2016? Why? Because he's not actually sure he can do it. It's not coming. I'm telling you, it's not coming. Kingdom Hearts 3 isn't coming. Final Fantasy 7 Remake's not coming. They're not coming. Don't lie to me and tell me it's coming. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's rain. It's not coming. I don't care what he says. Oh, it's gonna have international same-day release. When it happens, it's not gonna happen.
That's if it happens.
It's not gonna happen.
Like, there's more likelihood of those end-of-days preachers getting a day right than Tabata getting the day right for when his own game gets released.
That's very, very sad.
That is really sad. And then the last bit of news in somewhat related, not quite Justice League news. You don't even have to put up the graphic for this one. It's just so short.
Are you sure? Because I have it right here.
Okay, bring it back up. People like looking at it.
There you go. You can have that.
Look at that for a second, and we're good.
Oh, okay. Nah,
And we're good.
Well, I was trying to drag it back, and now I can't, so I guess I'm just gonna make it disappear.
Yeah, just make it disappear. Ben Affleck had 2 movies coming out from Warner Brothers that he was on track to direct right after Batman v Super... I'm sorry, not quite. Justice League. Well, it seems that Warner Brothers has taken the option to say, you know what? You're not directing those. We kind of want you to work on the solo Batman movies that you said you were going to help write and direct. Yeah, that would be great. Like, they're so hungry for more Batman. And admittedly, yeah, I've got a little bit of hope for it. But that's still kind of a dick move. Like, no, man, I had these on the way. They were probably going to be Oscar contenders. This was going to be really good. I had a script. I had a cast. We were ready. No, you're not doing that. Yeah, you're working on Batman. You're going to be Batman for a while. Like, they've put Ben Affleck in the bat cuffs at this point.
Because they're so confident that Batman is the only superhero they can make that anybody still likes out of them. And...
Well, see, they could make better superhero movies if they got people who would try. Just a wild concept, you know? People who enjoy the characters. Enjoy writing the characters. How about that?
Yeah, that would be smart.
That would be helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all we got for the follow-ups.
Okay.
You're already kind of wound up because of Final Fantasy 15, but now we get to talk about truly...
There's nothing truly outrageous about this, Josh.
Well, I was going to say offensive to fans.
Oh, well, when you put it that way.
Yeah.
Where's my trailer? Well, it was supposed to be there. I've totally turned it on, and it's not playing. So I guess,
weird.
Whatever. So we'll just talk about Gem while I try and figure out what the hell the problem with it. Oh, it's just not playing? Is that it? No, it's not just that it's not playing. It doesn't matter. Maybe you don't even need to see it. Because you know what? Nobody should have to see it.
Okay,
alright. Because, it's not just that another trailer for Gem and the Holograms, alright? It's that a trailer dropped, they released this, not exactly behind the scenes, but this little featurette.
This kind of making of featurette a little.
Where John Chu is sitting there talking out his ass as if he's created the most amazing, magnificent, girl power, feminist-friendly thing you've ever seen.
He's lying.
He's lying on all accounts. On every single account, he is lying.
Well, because you look at this thing, and you also look at the new footage that's been put out, and there's some very obvious now nods to the original series. The biggest of which, I think, is now the inclusion of what's supposed to be synergy.
Yeah, so synergy... Have any of you ever heard of that robot that got, like, crowdfunded, like, within this past year called Jibo? I suggest you look up Jibo. Jibo. Jibo is this little family robot it's got a round head, and it swivels on its body, and it can talk back to you, and it can take family photos and kind of follow you around and stuff. Like, there is nothing about this little robot that they've introduced and called Synergy that even remotely resembles who Synergy was or what Synergy was or anything of that sort. And in fact, it looks like it could be any normal-ass robot you could buy at Toys R Us anymore. It would be kind of an expensive robot. Like,
yeah, like the $150 range and up.
$150 little robot, but, like, it looks like a thing that exists. It doesn't look like super amazing future tech to me.
But see, here's the thing you gotta break down for a second. The robot, it's like... And I think some people have confirmed a lot of this came up because of the reshoots that they did on the movie. Like, hey, this isn't tracking so well. They want more stuff from the original. Man... But we're making our movie. All right, give him something. Give him. Here's like $20. Build something.
So this robot starts projecting like home movies of Jem or Jerrica Benton and her father, and it's like, yay! It's a projector, and then eventually
it's a projector robot.
Yeah, and it eventually projects kind of a hologram, of
her dad. But but there's a problem with that
because there's roots in where that came from, you know, which you should be like, oh, that's great, they remembered that her dad built Synergy, yeah, but you should also remember that her dad built Synergy after he lost his wife, who's Jerrica's mother, and he was like, oh my god, I'm so distraught, I can't be without my wife, I have to rebuild my wife. And Synergy was supposed to be modeled after Jerrica's mother.
Exactly.
So Synergy is both... And, like, he stops at a certain point as he's making Synergy, as he realizes it's getting, like, too close to being to his wife, and it's breaking his heart. So
right.
he kind of stops, and he gives her, like, memories and knowledge
right.
and wisdom.
Some
and
kind of
like
a personality.
That. A little bit of a personality, yeah. So it's supposed to be more than just a connection to her dad, but also a connection to her mom, and I don't see that there.
Because if you were going to modernize Synergy, and this is what I thought of the other day, basically what you're looking at is a feminine version of Jarvis from all these Marvel movies. That's who Synergy's supposed to be to Jerrica. She's there to answer questions, give her tech that she needs, or project stuff that she needs. And like some people are calling out here, there's a very strong lack of Jazzercise Ghost in this Synergy.
No Jazzercise Ghost. Desperately needed Jazzercise Ghost. So it's not just Synergy, alright, and as they released this second trailer, a lot of it looked a whole hell of a lot like the first trailer, but then they also have included the same song that they've included the whole time. So they released a larger segment of that song, which is about what you would expect, because you already heard the small fragment of it, and it sounds like total pop garbage when Jem and the Holograms are supposed to be these rock divas, you know?
Right.
And these girls just sound like all they could do was hit notes and otherwise not be singers.
Like they didn't even try
because you can hit a note, just because you can do that does not make you record label material, if you understand my meaning. So then finally we get to this featurette, right? So the featurette featured John Chu kind of talking out his ass, and then, what is the name? Why am I blanking on the name of the woman who created Jem to begin with back in the 80s? I feel so bad, and I'm blanking, I'm gonna have to look it up. There's like 3 seconds of an interview with her, because she was not involved with the creation of this movie at all whatsoever. In fact, I saw her post on Facebook when it was first announced that she was kind of hurt by that.
Yeah, who wouldn't be?
And then John Chu approached her and talked to her about what he wanted to do with it. So there's this 3 seconds of this interview segment where he's like, she says he has this very interesting alternate idea of what Jem is supposed to be. Cut. As if it's trying to dodge how she's trying to only half talk good about this movie.
Right.
Christy Marks, thank you very much. Exactly
the thing, there's a line in the trailer, and Nash, you brought it up there, they want a version of me that doesn't exist, and it's like, man, y'all hit the nail on the head, like y'all had the balls to put that line in the trailer. You guys know we're pissed at you. Great.
Yep.
And then on top of that, there seems to be at least one misfit, apparently.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was... And it's not in the trailer. It's in that featurette.
Oh, in the featurette, I'm
sorry. It's in the last, 3 seconds of the featurette. And a lot of people are suggesting that it's... Well, one, it's clearly pizzazz.
Right, because the green hair is kind of a getaway.
It's somebody with green hair. And two, they're saying that it's supposed to be Kesha playing her? There's a lot of people who have... I don't know if that's grasping at straws for some fans, that it be Kesha.
Some people were saying, I haven't done the full look into it, but people were saying, well, this would explain why Kesha had green hair for a little bit. That possibly she was filming this for Jem. And it's like, okay, great, you guys remember that the Misfits exist. And the next immediate thought was, so how'd you guys screw them up?
Yeah, I know, right? Because the only Misfit we see is Pizzazz. And I'm kind of also thinking, well, are you a reshoot too? Did they have to insert the Misfits in there after they realized people are pissed, there's no Misfits? Like, well, how shoehorned in is she?
Well, it's kind of the thing, and I make this loose comparison. They made, a while back, a live-action Prince of Tennis movie. And in the movie, it only... there's a point to this. In the movie, there's certain schools that play tennis against each other, and they only focus on like 3 of them. And at the very tail end of the movie, you see people cameoing as the people from the other schools, from the more popular arcs, and it's like, oh man, there they are. There's the people I actually wanted to see in this movie. And then cut, the movie's over. You only got to see them for a second. And it's like, well, why would you even do that to me? Like you were going to make a sequel. Because they never made a sequel. It was just that one thing. And it's kind of that same idea that I'm applying to this, that, oh, you guys might have been able to get Kesha for like an hour. You put her in a green wig, or you got her to diet for a second. She said a couple of snarky lines and left like, hey guys, if you want the Misfits, you got to pay the movie fee. That way you can let us make a sequel. Please let us make a sequel. Please.
God, please don't suggest that there could possibly be a sequel.
Well, yeah, that's basically what I'm saying, is it's sequel bait.
I would sooner pirate the movie than pay money to allow the studio to produce a sequel.
I completely agree with that, because the thing about it is, with as bad as the movie's tracking right now, and as bad as the songs sound, by definition, the Misfits are supposed to say, at least, and by some popular opinion, fans agree, they've got the better songs.
Sometimes, to me, they have
I like most of their songs better.
They have about how much did you watch? They have about equivalent songs.
I watched like a quarter of it over your shoulder when you were doing the Crayon review.
They were all of their songs for each one of these bands, because then there's a third pretty major band that shows up near the third. The final third of the series, and they all just kind of repeat the same lyrics over and over again and call it a song.
How's that any different from pop music now?
Well, no, it's like one sentence over and over and over and over and over again. I know it doesn't sound like that big of a difference, but it's like, mischief, we're making mischief, making mischief. Mischief, we're making mischief, making mischief. That's like the first episode, maybe? If not the second or third.
Okay, but I'll put it to you this way. Is that mischief, we're making mischief, preferable to the crap you heard in this trailer?
Yes.
Okay. Stop it.
Maybe I'm glad that for some reason the trailer didn't friggin' play. I don't know.
Screw it. Let's move on to the next topic.
Fine. I don't even care. Whatever. What was our next topic?
You always ask me that. Attack on Titan.
All right, this. So, which should have a trailer that plays, because I'm gonna hit play right now. There it is.
There we go. Okay, so it's not really it's a teaser. Now, we didn't get to show you guys this last week because we were just talking about it. But like we said at the top of the show, we'll kind of get out of the way for a second. That day the human race remembered.
You know what?
You guys kind of know by this point. The majorly popular Attack on Titan series is getting a game from Koei, who are
Tecmo Koei,
who are mainly known for their Dynasty Warriors and Dynasty Warrior styled games.
A lot of historical games. In Japan, a lot of the games that we don't get are also very Chinese or Japanese historical related, because the founder of the company has such a hard-on for Japanese history.
Absolutely.
Or at least, like, 80 bajillion different games about Nobunaga. It's ridiculous.
Well, then again, the country as a whole likes telling stories about Nobunaga over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's very, very true.
But as such, this company, Koei Tecmo, is working on this Attack on Titan game. Now, when we talked about it last week, we were postulating that perhaps it would be in the vein of Dynasty Warriors. You know, you'd kind of be up above the Titans and then just kind of zooming around, stabbing at them, trying to take them down.
But I suppose, to be fair, there's only so many Titans. They're threatening because they're enormous. I mean, there's kind of a lot of them, but there's not, like, the hundreds and hundreds you would get in a Dynasty Warriors style game. Either Dynasty Warriors or Dynasty Warriors Gundam, or the One Piece thing, or the Fist of the North Star thing, or because they have 80 bajillion little enemies that you run around and you gotta kill all of them.
And the thing is, it's a different dynamic when the Titans are that much taller than you.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we've got a story coming out of Kotaku just this week that they have gone ahead and confirmed this will not be a Warrior-style game.
In fact, that's a huge selling point, that they're really driving home. Guys, it's not a Warriors game. Stop saying we're gonna make it Warriors.
We're not.
We swear, even though we're the guys who make pretty much only Dynasty Warriors games.
Well, because what they're saying is they're dropping that in favor of a game that will follow the plot of the original story. So more than likely, we're looking at maybe a single player, if not hopefully a two-player campaign, following Eren and probably Armin or Mikasa through training camp, through the first taking back of one of the walls, and then so on and so forth down through the game.
So I assume, since it's coming out in 2016, that
See, they can say 2016.
Yeah, they can say what's wrong with you, Square Enix?
Throwing that out there.
I just want to make faces. So I'm assuming that they're possibly going to cover stuff from this upcoming second season of the anime.
More than likely. Now, the thing about it is, we're wondering about this. Since you're not doing Dynasty Warriors, you're focusing more on the plot of the manga and the anime over, say, the live-action movie, which takes its own direction from what I understand. Then how do you apply, at least I guess I call it the Dynasty Warriors engine to this game?
You think they're going to use the same engine?
Well, I think it works in the sense of they're really saying they want to stress the use of the 3D maneuver gear, which, of course, for me, and I've said this multiple times, was the selling point of the series for me in the first place, was being able to maneuver around from building to building, not exactly like Spider-Man, but just a little more stylized and free in trying to take down these giant, human-like monsters. I mean, do you think that'll play well in a single player? Because at that point, I don't see how it's any different than the 3DS game.
Well, my concern is that because there were often times in the anime where I couldn't tell where their 3D maneuver gear was latching onto buildings.
Right.
You remember some of the older Spider-Man console
games? Oh, I remember
games
the very first one.
where Spider-Man, you can get him to web sling
straight up
so far up into the sky that you are so...
The original Activision Spider-Man game.
You are
I
so
love that game.
up above
love that
the
game.
whole city. In fact, you're probably higher than the Empire State Building, and you're in the clouds.
Yeah,
you're
in the
way
clouds.
up there. And I'm like, this 3D maneuver gear is probably gonna look a lot like that, and I'm so scared for that. Because actually, I know we see so little, not even gameplay. That's not even gameplay, it's a teaser. But actually, I really like, the stylization. I think that, graphically, that stylization works for Attack on Titan.
Yes, because the graphics look very much the way the anime looks, which of course was adapted from the manga style, so people will feel like they're there in the show, which I think is better than, like, say, other Dynasty Warrior games where they go for a more human-looking character model.
Right.
Since people know it so far just as the anime, more people are going to recognize that than, say, deciding to base Eren's design off Haruma Miura, the guy who's playing Eren in the live-action movie. I think that's a smarter decision in the long run.
So, in that sense, that's why I'm like, oh, well, I think the way they're cel-shading it, and it's not, like, completely and utterly cel-shaded to the point where it's super cartoony. I think it works very, very well. It's, part 3D, part very light cel-shading. And so, for that reason, I mean, maybe them kind of 3D maneuvering up into the sky won't look so ugly, but I really hope it doesn't look that bad.
Because you make the comparison to Spider-Man, in later games, they made it a point to make sure you could determine where he latched on there in the city, and that would change the arc of how he swung through the city.
Right.
Having that same sort of mechanic available here, like, oh, you're deciding you have to hook onto this part of the building, or that tree, and that'll change the angle at which you come at the Titan, that would be something you'd want to bring to this.
Yeah.
A little more hands-on. Now, the interesting thing about it is that they said there should be more news on this next month at the Tokyo Game Show.
Yes, and we'll be there for it.
Yes, we will be there for it.
So excited for that.
So, hopefully, come next month, we'll be able to report back to you guys about Tokyo Game Show and hopefully get you some more hands-on information about this game.
Question is, do we do a live Tokyo show?
Oh, come on. The logistics of that would be...
What are you talking about? There's Wi-Fi in our hotel room.
Okay, that. So you're saying you want to do a live show from Japan?
It would be a completely different hour. It would be Japan time. It would be probably way early in the morning or something. I don't even know.
Look, let's talk about that later.
I think that would be the best way to report the fastest on Tokyo Game Show.
Perhaps.
That'd be the best way to do it, I'm just saying.
Alright, so, yes, hopefully we'll be able to tell you guys more about this as it's coming up.
Hey, I know you're saying, with hotel internet, but realize Japan has some of the fastest internet speeds in the world, you know? And it's not an especially huge hotel. We're not staying in, like, a Sheraton, you know, where everybody, like 80 bajillion people, are all trying to get on this internet service at once. This is, you know, very small, admittedly kind of cramped space, and I think we could do it.
Perhaps. We'll confirm later. And we know we're kind of early for starting the third topic, but we've got a lot to talk about with this third topic.
Yeah, so that's
Force Awakens. Yeah. Okay, so ton of news coming out this week about the Force Awakens, and some stuff related to the Han Solo spin-off movie that they're doing as well. But we'll go ahead and try to primarily focus on Force Awakens. But let's get the Han Solo stuff out of the way first.
Okay, sure. I suppose that people are looking forward to that. I'm not gonna say... Well, I'll say the least, but that's not to say that it's not to be looked forward to.
Right. Of course, it is being directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who did the Lego movie. Mm-hmm. They're saying, well, they're gonna have a kind of a cheekier, lighter tone for it, since Han Solo's got that tongue-in-cheek, like, so what's it to you sort of attitude. They're looking to cast somebody who's at least 10 to 15 years younger than Harrison Ford was in the first movie.
So the idea is that this person's gonna be, like, late teens, early 20s?
Right. He's not we're not they specifically say, we are not introducing you to a 10-year-old Han Solo.
Oh, thank God.
Yes.
Because then we would have ended up with Gotham in Star Wars land.
Oh, hell no.
That would have been atrocious.
That would have been terrible.
Or we would have ended up with Episode 1 all over again, but with a different character, and that would have... Oh, man. I would never see that.
No. See,
I would never go.
People are happier that we're not dealing with kids anymore.
Yeah.
We should probably keep the kids out of it.
Yes.
So, that's going to be something to look forward to. The race will be on to see who will play young Han Solo now. And, the way things are going, casting is getting better at trying to cast people who look like younger versions of, certain characters.
I would agree, yeah.
So long as dude's got the strong jawline and, just kind of that Harrison Ford sort of that stoic look that he has on his face.
That slight squintiness going on?
A little bit, yeah. Well, maybe not so much, if we're going back to A New Hope. Because he wasn't squinty in New Hope.
No, he was wide-eyed and kind of a jerk. And in fact, Harrison Ford hated the character. He played him just fine, but thought that the character was a loser and wanted him to die.
Yeah, but point being, now he accepts that, well, this is kind of my bread and butter now.
He didn't say it nearly that fast, I'm sorry.
This is kind of my
You know what, we don't have time for you to do that.
Yes, because we've got more news to get into for Force Awakens. Mm-hmm. Now, there is, of course, an embargo on the merchandising for Star Wars The Force Awakens. It's not supposed to come out until the 4th of next month, so officially, that merchandise will be available at that point next month. However,
it's exciting to go inside Toys R Us's right now because they have this awesome countdown clock.
Yes.
To this Star Wars Day
and
launching all
as
these
I understand,
toys.
Most Toys R Us's are having midnight launches for these new toys, shirts, what have you.
Like, really, who needs to wait until midnight for toys? But friggin' Toys R Us is doing it,
and it's Star Wars.
And so that's like creating all of its own hype just by saying, you know what, they might not have gotten excited about it, but let's put it at midnight. Yeah, to make it sound like it's important. You know
well, it is important.
It's getting me excited.
Well, because the thing about it that's kind of building this hype now is that people are. At least over the past week, or really this weekend, breaking the embargo and putting little pictures on the internet of the merchandise.
So what was it? This was one thing, just one minor example. that made its way onto Reddit. I'm just gonna kind of stick it here in the middle, and maybe I can even make it bigger. Nope. Never mind. So, but there's a character that the very top of these 3 little portraits you see on the far left-hand side of the picture is some other brand new character that like nobody's ever heard of before.
Because right there on the bottom you've got Finn, and you can kind of make out his last name there. We've got a trooper above him, and then above both of them we've got this new character that we've never seen before.
And now I honestly can't read it. But no, actually, you don't see Finn's last name. It just says Jakku, like it's the Battle of Jakku.
Oh, like, okay.
Like he's got this jetpack thing going on.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
That's not even his name.
But
so.
Bringing up last names, J.J. Abrams in another interview with Entertainment Weekly this week said specifically with the characters of Finn and Rey, there is a reason we have purposely omitted their last names from the promotional material.
Well, that, and I'm gonna go ahead and connect this over to talking about Kylo Ren.
Yes, because Kylo Ren, who is now the cover guy for this next issue of Entertainment Weekly, look at that guy.
I'll put him in the middle too.
Oh man, like, I'm so digging that mask.
It's very shiny mask. So they said,
but there's importance to that mask.
Well, yeah, they say that he has purposely designed that mask to be Darth Vader-ish. Not exactly Darth Vader, which I think is good, because they shouldn't try and recreate Darth Vader. They're never going to recreate Darth Vader. And that he created this lightsaber. The character created the lightsaber on his own.
Well, I've got the direct quote right here. The movie explains the origins of the mask and where it's from, but the design was meant to be a nod to the Vader mask. Ren is well aware of what's come before him, and that is very much part of the story of the film. The lightsaber is something he built himself, and is as dangerous and as fierce and as ragged as the character. He is a character who came to the name Kylo Ren when he joined a group called the Knights of Ren. He's not your prototypical mustache-twirling guy. He's a little bit more complex than that.
So, realize something. There's some other key things that came up in this Entertainment Weekly interview. And it's that he's only so old, alright? He's apparently pretty young. He's not old enough to actually be, to have ever known Darth Vader.
Yes.
He's obsessed with Darth Vader for one reason or another. Entertainment Weekly, for one reason or another, I don't know whether or not it's because they got this hint, because they don't have a quote, but they're suspecting, is it because he might be somebody related to somebody we know?
And the thing is, I was talking to this about you yesterday, and more people have jumped on the bandwagon since, like, postulating, well, what does that mean? If you put all of this information together...
Figure again, we go back to Rey and Finn, who they have specifically, very, very specifically left off their last names on purpose. They're not telling us their last names, probably because we know who their parents are, or somebody they're related to. For that reason, we believe, amongst a whole lot of other people, that these are the Solo twins.
Quite possibly.
Possibly. Being Rey and, this guy.
And Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren.
Because, they say there that Kylo Ren, that's not really his name. He was given a title. And, Rey, we know next to nothing about these characters, and we were thinking about it, and all of the information that they've put out thus far, they've given us a ton of information about the bad guys in the movie, about the First Order, about Captain Phasma, about Kylo Ren. We know next to nothing about the good guys in this movie.
Very true. Now, granted, this is us stretching. We don't know. At the same time, I get this feeling like, yes, they ditched the expanded universe, but at the same time, they probably knew they needed to make a nod toward the expanded universe, or else people would eat them alive. I just kind of get that feeling,
Well, the thing about it is, I believe there's entirely a possibility that the names in and of themselves are a complete misdirect, that they actually do have
I agree.
the names of their kids. What was it? Jason Solo and
Jaina.
And Jaina Solo. I fully believe that's what's going to happen here, that they're pulling an artful misdirect by making us focus so hard on the villains that we forget to think about the heroes. But the thing is, as more time goes on and we're getting close to once we get into the fall, Abrams said he would release a new trailer, which he's working on cutting right now. That'll maybe starting to steer us in the direction of what our good guys, what their role is going to be in this movie.
Now, realize D23 is coming up. There is actually not a new trailer.
That was the amazing thing about it.
Nor any other new footage from what Abrams said.
Yeah, Abrams said, I'm busy working on the final cut. I'm busy working on the trailer. Trust me, guys. We're going to give you all this information. Entertainment Weekly. You guys get a look at these new high-res pictures. You guys can go to entertainmentweekly.com right now and look at all of these beautiful pictures now in high resolution. But you know, no footage. You got to wait.
And you know what? I'm all right with that. I seriously am okay with that. Now there is a photo that was like legit leaked. I'm specifically choosing not to put that on screen. However,
yes, because we won't put it on the screen. However, there is a chat here, so you guys can go ahead and take a look at this. Some of you might have already seen it. Some of you might not.
So that right there appears to be a very legit photo of Mark Hamill, Skywalker,
in this new trilogy.
In what appear to be very traditional-looking
Jedi
robes. And we know that it's legit because Disney is running around trying to tear it down off of as many websites as possible. It was on IO9 earlier. I think it was on IGN earlier. And those outlets specifically said, sorry, we can't show it anymore. Disney said no.
So if Disney said yo, Disney said no.
Disney said yo!
No, Disney said no. Fans were like, yo! Oh my gosh, Luke Skywalker! Because you think about it, one, you figure he'd be in Jedi robes. Two, that's the same full beard that we saw him in press pictures, just there with the rest of the cast. So yeah, that's our look at Luke. He looks. And it's the funny thing people keep commenting on. He's the same age as Sir Alec Guinness was when he was filming for A New Hope.
Yeah.
Like that, just the whole bringing it full circle thing, which is something Abrams has said he wanted to bring to this.
So friggin' beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see. And now we're looking into it, going back to the other merchandise that was leaked. Some things that I think was Target.
Well, no, it was Toys R Us, and it was a Toys R Us in British Columbia that had all those toys go out on shelves way too early.
And some people were able to get pictures, but the thing is, if you try to look into it, you're not going to find very many pictures of them because they made them pull it immediately. Like, get that off the shelf now. You guys are under order. You can't do that. Like
somebody probably got fired.
Somebody probably got fired for that.
I'm convinced somebody got fired for breaking street date. Or if not, came
that close to breaking street date, yeah. And one of the pictures was this new Nerf First Order Stormtrooper blaster.
I want it so bad.
Like you couldn't even get a good look at it.
No, I wish. But
did you see how crazy? Photo. Did y'all see how crazy her eyes got right now? I want it. Like that's the thing. People, I almost wonder if they're not letting people break street date just that much, just so more hype can build. Because the thing about it is, like we've said before, this is a perfect marriage of giraffe money. You've got Lucasfilm giraffe money with Disney giraffe money, and together they will make this Death Star of giraffe money that will destroy any competition that comes against it once it hits theaters.
You're saying words.
I'm just saying this thing's going to be massive. Like, I'm wondering if it's not going to be Black Friday a couple of months early as soon as this stuff hits the shelves. Like, are we going to see lines at Toys R Us and Target and Walmart?
You think we should show up just to see what the lines are?
Hell yeah, I want to show up!
Alright.
You want that gun?
I want that gun.
Well, there you go. See, that's the thing. It's getting to us. We want that merchandise. You want to see... how many people...
Of course, I would just buy it because it's Nerf, but, I mean...
Well, yeah, there's a lot of Nerf stuff we want right now, but specifically the Star Wars stuff is what is going to be number one. People are already apparently, not bootlegging, what's the term? Hawking stuff on eBay.
What? Really? That they managed to buy from these
one or two,
Toys R Us's that...
And we managed to get other pictures other than the back of that one. We've got pictures of the Captain Phasma toy, Kylo Ren, Finn, and of course, there's talk of BB-8.
Oh man, and Micro Machines.
And Micro Machines.
Micro Machines are back!
Like, you guys in the chat, you guys tell us, has Micro Machines fallen off? Because I haven't seen Micro Machines in a while. Because the thing is, the last time I remember buying or wanting anything Micro Machines was the Star Wars lines that they used to do, the little mini playsets.
Those little ones that were the shapes of like Darth Vader's head and stuff?
No, my brother had one, and between the two of us, we played the hell out of that thing of the Millennium Falcon, the big one that was like a foot and a half.
They're releasing a new Millennium Falcon.
And they're releasing a new one, yeah. But this one, the one he had flipped open, and it was the inside of the Millennium Falcon, and the rest was storage. This one, it's one of those you flip it open, and it's like the desert planet that they're on now. That the name escapes me at the moment. But yeah, it's one of those play sets. And the thing is, like, how big of a franchise do you have to be to where you can resurrect a dead toy line? Just
you
because
you're Star Wars.
You have to be Star Wars. That's amazing that they have that kind of power.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you get that kind of power?
Disney, Satan. They're synonymous, right?
I don't know about that. I was trying to go for the not from a different store like Mattel.
What?
Where do you learn these things? Not from a Jedi.
I try to block out prequels, Josh.
I know. It's like the one of the few lines you can quote from that movie. You know how I feel about that movie. No. I do not want.
Man, my theater laughed. Oh, they laughed. Anyway.
But yes, we're going.
I would totally continue talking about all this stuff into our post show.
Yes.
Oh man, I could keep talking.
Oh yeah, we can totally keep talking about it because I don't know that we got to everything actually. We got caught up on toys.
Toys and oh my God, Disney's trying to hush Luke Skywalker. Man, I didn't even get to talk about like the 6 different companies that they're advertising through.
We'll just mention them real quick because we got a minute.
Yeah,
or two.
what? Like they just barely released photos of
Subway is teaming up.
CoverGirl and Max Factor have just released a makeup line, a Star Wars makeup line that's specifically for the movie.
Like, that's something they never did for the other movies.
Then there's partnerships with Duracell, with the company that makes Fiat and Chrysler, General Mills, so that means cereal's coming, and ice cream and stuff like that, and Hewlett-Packard, and you said Subway, and Verizon. All these companies each individually have their own advertising
All I'm
thing.
saying is, if Subway's gonna do the commercials for their sandwich line, whatever sandwiches they're making for The Force Awakens, it better be, the pull down from space and you see coming up from the top a foot-long sub coming into frame. Like, come on, guys. If you're going to do this, buy into it completely. But that's as much as we can talk about right now. We're out of time for this episode.
I will totally talk about 3PO's arm in the post-show.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. You got a red arm.
Well, let's get into this post-show, and if you're watching us on YouTube or something, then you guys should be coming down here and talking with us on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Central, and we'll always be here.
Yes.
For you.
For you guys.
And we do a post-show for half an hour for just the people who are here live with us in the chat, so come down and be live with us in the chat, and it's going to be awesome fun times.
Yes, and in the meantime, during the week, you can always talk to us over on Twitter. I'm at Josh Knight First.
And I'm at Mars Girl.
So that having been said, that's been this week's episode of Beyond the Black Rims. We will see you guys next week.
Good night.